internet friends, my name is Catherine and I'm the human behind Christian Misculture, and today we are going to see if we obtain the same color if we're going to mix our dry powder of dye fresh, or if we're doing a big batch in one jar, if we're going to obtain the same color. So we're going to experiment with that, and without further ado, let's get into this. So what we're going to do today is I want to know if there will be a difference between me doing my pre-mix, so pre-mixing two different pigments, versus dyeing with the mixed pigment freshly made, if it makes sense. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this old empty jar that I cleaned up and fill it with the magenta and my true black in the proportion to create my raspberry jam color, and we're going to shake it and mix it as much as possible. And after that I'm going to be mixing fresh for to dye one skein of yarn tonight, and we're going to compare if using the pre-mixed that I will have created in this jar will give me the same color as if it was freshly made, if it makes sense. So the first thing we need to do is grab our respirator, because we only have one pair of lungs and we need to protect them, and we're going to be measuring our eh, our pigment. Okay, so I'm going to start with the dye for one skein of yarn. And every time that you use your scale, just make sure that it is at a 0, so you can have precise measurement. Oops. Okay. So this is for that. Okay. Just going to clean this up a little bit. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So now this one is done. We're going to be measuring. I think we're going to go for like 5 times the recipe I would normally do. So, okay. So let's start with our Truac. And I made sure to zero out. Okay, so that's good. And zero out. So now we're going to be measuring our magenta. Okay, so I can close this. I'm going to shake it really, really well. Here we go. And now I'm going to be measuring the quantity I need to dye one skein of yarn. And hopefully we get something good. Oops, tiny bit too much. Oops. And I'm such a mess. Okay, come on. Perfect. So now we are good. I'll just set this aside. This, and we're going to add a little bit of liquid in this, and I'll be able to remove my mask. Perfect. Okay. So far, it does look good. It does look like what my color usually looks like. And we have enough water in here. So since we're going to be doing full immersion color, that's why it doesn't really matter how much liquid we have. We're just going to tap it up a little bit. Perfect. So like I say, so far so good. Like, I don't see why it wouldn't work, because it's basically the same thing that Dharma is doing with their premixed pigment, right? And I'm using their colors to make new colors. So their primaries, and I think we're going to have pretty good result. So we're just going to do a quick tissue test to have a quick comparison. And I think we're pretty good. To me, it looks pretty much the same. So I'm just going to set those aside. But like, it does look the same to me. So I don't know why it wouldn't work, but I don't know. I guess I just self-doubt myself like usual. Okay, so we're going to grab our pots. Let's get into the pots. So I'm adding my water, and it's not like it's cold water-ish, which will help with making sure that we don't have too quick of a strike on the color. So this is the mix, the fresh that we just mixed for one skein of yarn. And we're going to be dyeing my classic sock base. Okay, so I think we have enough liquid in there. Okay, so and the true black will strike a little bit later during the process, simply due to the fact that it takes a little bit longer to fully strike the yarn. So we're going to do the same process with our other premixed. Okay, so let's add our skein. And so far, so good. I'm pretty sure that we have the color right on the money. So I like to do a lot of movements to make sure that we open up the skein of yarn and we don't create too much natural resistance within the pot. And now we're going to put that on the stove. Okay, so I just turned on the heat on them both, and so far I feel like this one, which is the one we just did, it's this one is the pre-mixed that we mixed large quantity into my jar, and this is the other one. I feel like this one might be a little lighter, so I might not have put enough of the true black, or it's just the light that's playing tricks on my eyes, which is possible. So I just added also the citric acid. So there's 1 teaspoon per skein of yarn here. And yeah, so we're going to let this reach a temperature of roughly 85 Celsius. And once we've reached 85 Celsius, we're going to do 30 minutes on the stove before turning off the heat. So I will see you later. And we have a clear bath, so we are good to turn off the heat. And we're going to let this cool off before washing off any excess dye, and I will see you later. Okay, so this has cooled off completely, so now we will be able to wash off any excess dye, and it's looking really good. So we don't have any color in here, which is great. But since we've used deep magenta, we can always expect a little bit of color in the water when it comes to washing off any excess dye. So we'll see. And honestly, so far so good. They look pretty similar to me. So see, no color, which is great. Okay, so I'm going to let this soak a little bit. And like I said, since we've used deep magenta, it is very possible that we will have some color in the water for the soak. So we're going to wait for 10 minutes and we'll see from there what needs to be done. Okay, let's take a look at what we got here. Okay. And I am very happy to say we do not have any color in the water. So we're going to put this in the spin dryer, remove all excess dye and all excess water, and I will let it dry overnight, and we will see each other tomorrow for the final result of dye. And here's the final result for doing the mix of my dry powder as is and doing a bigger batch in one jar. And honestly, I don't know what's the difference between the two of them, so I do believe that if you want to do mixes and everything prior, doing in a larger batch will be very helpful, especially when you have very small quantities. For example, for the True Black that I've used in this premix that I created, it is a very, very, very small percentage of the True Black, so it will avoid errors in the future, and you'll be able to have a better consistency between batches, especially if you're doing your premix rather than mixing it fresh. So this is very fun and exciting discovery for me, I guess. And I will do that for anything in the future that I need to do premixes. So that was fun to discover. And if you've liked this video, please consider sharing, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you next one very soon. Bye.